So the first topic we're going to talk about is why anatomy is important. And the reason why we think anatomy is important, because when you look up a tutorial on, let's say, how to draw a pony, yeah, they'll teach you, okay, first you draw the head, then you draw the body, and so on and so forth. But they don't really explain to you why you need to draw the head a certain way, or why you need to connect the head to the body a certain way. Let's just pick up an example of, well, let's pick today's example, like how to draw a head. Most tutorials they say, okay, you draw a circle, divide it in two, yeah, and then divide that line horizontally in two, and then draw a next shape, and they'll so on and so forth, and then they'll say, okay, add the eyes, and it's like those memes where they say add details and it's done, where add the nose, add the mouth, and you're just following along, but you don't really understand what you're drawing. It's a bit weird, you're just following instructions, and at the end of it all, yeah, you know how to draw a head, yeah, but from that specific angle only, and that's what we want to like learn today. Like, why is it so important to learn how to draw, how to use anatomy? Another good example of why anatomy is really important is because if you understand anatomy, you'll also understand proportions automatically. For example, if we take like the human body, which is about this, the human body is about 8 heads tall. So you've got the head here, and you've got the pelvis here, rib cage, shoulders, spine in the middle, and then you've got the legs up to here, and so on and so forth. There we go. If you don't understand anatomy to the point where you've got a basic understanding, you might draw, like, let's say, the arm a bit too long, yeah. And as you see now, my character clearly has way too long arms, yeah. So that doesn't make any sense. Or maybe you draw the arms way too short. Yeah, maybe you draw the arms like this. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense either. If I just flash this out, then you'll see what I mean. There you go, and then you've got the shoulder. Already you can see, like, it makes no sense. Like, the arm is way too short. Yeah, whereas the arm should be like this. That should be the arm. This is like the normal length of an arm. And that's what we're here to learn today. So, like, why is it important to learn anatomy? Also, to know what a human body is capable of doing or what it's not capable of doing. And I'm not talking about it being able to do like exaggerations, for example, like bigger eyes or like exaggerated movements, exaggerated body parts. I'm not talking about those things, but in a way it has to make sense, like if you take the hand, for example, there are certain things that a hand can't do, yeah. Like, you can't make the, like, you see this a lot in comic books, and granted that's a bit exaggerated, but sometimes you'll see like the fingers, like, they go all the way like this, like it go all, but and this is like the hand. You've got your knuckle right here, yeah. I mean, that's not possible. I'm exaggerating here, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes you see things, and when you're drawing, sometimes you think like, yeah, that makes sense, but it actually doesn't. And if you understand basic anatomy, then you won't make these mistakes, which is why it's so important. If that makes sense. Okay, so that's pretty much the reason why anatomy is really important, because I'll give you an example. This is something I did way back in 2009. There's loads of things wrong with his drawing. It is god awful. I mean, it's just terrible. Well, first off, the eyes are way too far apart. Yeah, the nose is way too low. Nose bridge is way too big. Neck is way too broad. Yeah. But at the time, as I was drawing, I thought this was a masterpiece. I thought if I draw this, oh my god, it's amazing. It's the best thing I've ever done. know, and I was like, oh my god, look at this eye, it's so detailed, it's so perfect, you know, all the hair, and so on and so forth. Like, no, this is, if I have to be honest, my art used to be shit. But you know, it's through understanding anatomy that you can correct these things. So that's what we're going to do here, alright? Second thing is we're going to learn how to construct, I can't write, sorry, construct a face, or head, oh my god, it's late, I'm sorry. Okay, so, there we go. When we want to draw a head, I want to take attention. I'm not going to tell you like draw a circle, draw a line in the middle, and so on and so forth. I want you to understand what we draw, and also want you to understand how you can reproduce it by just following a few basic steps. So if we take the human skull, for example, yeah, I'm just gonna rule the skull here. Boop. Those are your eye sockets ish, and then you've got your jawline here, and this is like the nose of the skeleton. Boop. And you've got your front teeth here, and you've got your lower teeth here, and there's the jawline connected to it. Up, and there's the chin bone. There we go. If we take the skull here, yeah, this is what we call the cranium. Yeah, that's like usually the cranium. That's usually the circle part you draw. Like when they say like, "I draw a circle." Yeah, that's what they usually refer to. This here is the cranium. It's pretty much where your brain is. Yeah. And as you can see here already, left and right, yeah, are somewhat symmetrical. So you've got your left socket, you've got your right socket, you've got your nose, which is perfectly in the middle, kind of, you know, depends if the nose is a bit more crooked or not. And that's what you need to keep in mind, yeah, that the face is symmetrical. Most part, yeah, for the most part anyway. So, we're going to copy a few things over from this head, yeah, over to the other, yeah. So we all know it's symmetrical, right? So let's draw a line to keep it symmetrical. Yeah. As you can see, if I draw if I draw a line through this part, yeah, and this part is about the it's about the same. Like if you can divide it in two. So it's like this is half and this is half. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do as well. So we're going to draw the line here, yeah, and divide it into two. So 1, 2, and 1, 2. Yeah. And this is something you usually learn, but if you look in the mirror, yeah, if you just touch your face, and if you look in the mirror, you usually see that your head is almost like shaped like an upside down egg, something like this. So that's what we're going to take a basis. Now, the shapes can usually just, you know, it really depends on person by person. Like some people will have like a more rounder shape. Some people will have like a longer shape. Really depends on the person drawing. But in general, yeah, in general, like they all have like this egg shape. Half of that. Okay, that's about half. Okay, that's good. And this here is where your eye socket is. Maybe I should move this down a bit so you can see what I mean. Like that-ish. Okay. These are your eye sockets here. Oh, come on. There we go. And this is where your nose was. Now the general Wait, so you have your like the half, like one half is your top part, one half is lower part, yeah, and in the middle are your eyes, and then the half of that, again, is where the tip of your nose is going to be, yeah, so the tip of your nose is right here-ish, and then the half of that is where your lips will be. That's generally how it is. Lips usually go like here, okay, and then you've got your lips here. We're going to in future lessons we're going to detail on how to draw eyes or how to draw the nose or how to draw lips and so on and so forth. Today is mainly construction. Yeah, I want you to understand why the body, like why the eyes are placed there, why the nose is placed there, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and how we're going to add extra features to the face. Yeah. So now that we've done that, I'm going to copy this over. There we go. Photoshop magic. Yeah. And I'm going to put this on a new layer actually. And just turn this onto. There we go. Okay. So when drawing, yeah. We usually use like in most tutorials you'll also learn like how to use shapes. Like for example here, we use a circle, yeah, and then we also used like a triangle here. We're pretty much going to do the same here, yeah. If I draw the face from 3/4, yeah, you'll see that despite this here looks pretty flat for now, yeah. But if we just go like 3/4 face here real quickly, you'll see quickly that this person has like an extended cheek line. There we go. You see quickly that like there's a shape here, and the chin is like kind of round, and this part like goes over, like bends over as well. And that's what I want to illustrate. You know, if you turn his head back to the front, those shapes are still going to be there. Yeah, it's not because we're looking at it from the front that suddenly those shapes don't exist anymore. So we need to like define those shapes as well. Well, for one, because we need to find a way to add shades to them, like add shadow, add lighting, and we also need to understand these shapes so we can characterize our characters. Like maybe some characters will have like bigger jaw lines, others might have bigger cheekbones, others might have like more puffy cheeks, and so on and so forth. And all of that defines the character you're going to draw. Yeah, that's really important. In general, yeah, as if I go back to my skull here, the cheekbones are about here, yeah, as you can see, and this here is where your cheek is going to be. Yeah, this is the fleshy part. Yeah. As you can see, if I would draw the skull from like the side, you'd see that there's like it's pointy. Yeah, if you just touch your own cheekbones, they kind of have shape. So to simplify it, let's just go with a pyramid, like this pyramid-ish thing. Words are difficult, yes. With like this here being the top of your cheekbone here. We're going to add that in, yeah. And let's say for now, just follow along and you'll see what I mean. It'll make perfectly sense once I add some lighting to it. And as you can see here, it goes down here, yeah. So this is like a more of a like the plane kind of goes down. So like this part here, like this, right here, and this is like the fleshy part. Same with the jawline here, like this will protrude a bit more, this here, because it'll come forward. Okay. Like this. And as you can see, I'm drawing 3D shapes here, I'm not just using flat shapes, I'm using like pyramids, you know, and cubes and all that. And the shapes in itself don't really have to make a lot of sense. Like you have to draw them in the sense that they you know, you can't just draw random shapes. I mean, you have to draw the shape that makes sense to define the body part. We just copy the same over here because, as I said, they are symmetrical. Like this, and then like this. And it kind of looks like we're drawing a robot here now, but you'll see what I mean in a bit after I add some lighting to it. There we go, and then we've got the eyes here, the sockets. Okay, and then the nose. This is the tip of the nose, as we already discussed. And here's the mouth. And here another triangle for under the lip, so that goes down. So if we draw the lips from the side here. Yeah. Like this is round, and this will just go down. Yeah. It's like, and then here's your chin. Ish. So it kind of makes like this motion. And then this goes up as well. Like that. So let me just add some shading to it, and then it'll make perfect sense of what I'm trying to teach here. So the eyes are here. Don't worry about the eyes. I will explain to you in the future lesson how to draw them properly. It's kind of like Lego, you know. I'm giving you, right now what I'm doing is I'm giving you a giant box. I'm teaching you how to click the pieces together, and then later I'm going to teach you how to make tiny pieces, so you can add, like you can use those tiny assembled pieces to make one giant castle thing, you know, kind of like Lego. Okay, so let's say the light is coming from above here. Yeah. Now I know the eye socket, yeah, because you know eye socket, as it says, it's empty. So I know that there's no light that's gonna come here. Yeah. There we go. And then you've got the eyes here, because we know that the nose protrudes, you know, like the nose protrudes outwards. Yeah. And then we've got this is the top part of your cheekbone, so that's not going to have light, but under there is going to block off the light. The light is blocked off, like this. Same here. Okay. Some of that shadow like is cast over here as well. Under the nose is the same story. Under the top lips as well, because you know, as I said, like this here, if I draw from the side again, you've got your lips here, you've got your nose here, ish, somewhere. Like this is here, this here is not going to catch any light. No, like if the light comes down here, this part here is not going to catch any light, but this will. And then under the lip as well. And then again down here, as your jawline is like, you know, at the edge of your jawline, it turns over to down under your chin as well. There we go. Kind of looks like a transformer or something. It's pretty cool. And then under the chin here as well. Now let's take another color and just highlight. Hell yeah. And then we just add some highlights, you know, just to show you what I mean. This is when the light will be, this is when the light will hit, this is when the light will hit. Somewhere here, 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 and maybe here. So as you can see, I'm already like defining, because I know where the shapes are. And I use shapes to define the specific body parts of the face. I know where the light is going to fall. Yeah, same. If it doesn't really matter, once you know how the certain body parts on the face arm place, yeah, you'll also understand how to draw them from different aspects. Okay, whether the light comes from here. Oh, that's a bit too light actually. Let's make it a bit darker. Whether the light comes from here, yeah, or from here. And at first it's going to be difficult. Yeah, at first it's going to be like, oh geez, how the fuck do I do this? I'll probably have to censor that, but whatever. And that's pretty much it, you know, understanding shapes. So there's two really important things to do before that. First thing you should learn probably, turn down the size. One is actually learn shapes. If you haven't done that, then you should check out Kai. Kai has a really good video on how to use shapes. And he actually teaches you how to use the shapes properly. You know, just like why do we use a triangle here? Why do we use a pyramid? Why do we use a sphere? Why do we use a cube? And so on and so forth. Yeah, all basic stuff, but it doesn't really matter if you haven't learned it. Check out his stream or his videos, and he explains it perfectly. Two is actually just looking up some skulls, yeah, or just human faces. Skull and human faces. And what I used to do back then is I would just trace the human body and try to identify shapes on them. Let me just give you a little example here. So, portrait. Boop, boop. Copy image. Paste. Oh, that is a bit small. Okay. Paste. For example, this lovely lady here. First thing I want to do is know where the cranium is. Yeah, so, but I want to give me a new layer. There we go. So I'm going to use a bright color for this one, and then maybe I go down to a more darker color. There we go. So the cranium is right about here. You know, it doesn't have to be exact. You know, you don't have to. If you do this practice, yeah, spend like, I don't know, a maximum of like maybe 10 minutes on it. It doesn't have to be accurate to the point where, you know, it's anatomically correct. I just want you to use this exercise to understand what I'm trying to say when it comes to using shapes and understanding anatomics, like the anatomy of the human body. I've got the middle line here because I already said like the eyes are on the middle line horizontally. As you can see, this is the middle line, and everything is pretty much like almost symmetrical, you know. So she also has that egg shape-ish, as you can see. And now I can actually start filling in shapes. Now, as I said before, like the nose line is here and the mouth line is here. Maybe a bit lower, but kind of, yeah. As I said before, every human shape or human face has different shapes to define certain faces and has different characteristics. Yeah. Same with this person here. Like her jawline is all the way here. It's pretty sharp if you look at the original picture. Yeah, and she has a pretty sharp jawline right here. Yeah. Same with the cheekbones. Like she has quite pronounced cheekbones. Drawing the wrong layer. Yeah. So yeah. Oh. Yeah. So let's break down the shapes. Yeah, I know she has protruding cheekbones. Yeah, and in the original picture, as you can see, yeah, they kind of like seem to, like, you know, it's almost like it's exaggerated, like where they are really protruding. So let's let's do that as well. No, so oh boy, I'm drawing the wrong leg again. Rip me. So kind of like this, yeah, like this. And as you can see, I'm still using slightly different shapes for the reason that no human face is the same. No, it's absolutely impossible. And this is going down here, so like another shape here, and this is already concealed. Alright, same with this one here, also concealed. There we go. And then we've got like the extra shape here because it bends over as well. And then we've got the jawline, which is really pronounced, like this. Maybe like out like a cube here. And like, yeah, that's out of circular because like her chin is quite pronounced as well. And then the nose. And then the lips is here. The top lips and the bottom lips. And here like the eye sockets, you know, you can clearly see it like here. Right on the eyebrow. There we go. Yeah, let's color those in as well. There. Now I've got pretty much got my basic shapes for like, and then you've got the forehead, which is pretty much one giant circle here, and so on and so forth. The ears are like between. Oh, before I mention, we'll get that. The ears are between the middle line and the nose line. So this is where your ears is going to be. Yeah, there we go. Let me take a darker color again. And actually just fill some things out. So here are the eyes, and then let's just fill in the shades. That's what I really want to do here. Let me take a bigger brush. Boop. It seems that if you look at the reference picture as well, you'll see that the light is actually coming from above. This is blocked off as well. This here is blocked off as well, because this is like a pyramid shape. Yeah, it's like the light is being blocked off by this top part here, so you know it's not coming through on the bottom. And same here. And then as you can see, the light is being caught here. Yeah, and then under here, because she has a really sharp jawline. Yeah, it's not. There's not much room to like roll over in a sense. And then between here as well, let me just add like green to show you like the lighter parts. Maybe I should like add like darker parts as well still, just to exaggerate a bit to show you what I mean. And then here's like the neck. There we go. And then like some green. This is where the light hits, and you know there's some parts on the body that are kind of like in between, so like where the light kind of hits but no doesn't get blocked off either. So that's kind of what we call the mid values, but we'll talk about that another time. Here and here, also here and here, and kind of here as well. See, it might look silly, yeah, but you can clearly see that I've got a map, a road map to start drawing. Yeah. Doesn't really matter if it looks silly or not, but now I know in my head. Alright, so if I have this person here and I just fill out all the shades, fill out all the parts where the light is going to hit, and so on and so forth, I've got a map in my head right now to know which shapes to use to draw. Yeah. So it makes it a ton of easier, like a lot, pretty much. So let's take another one just to show you what I mean. Portrait, and then I want to have something like let's see here. Oh, well, okay, there we go. Copy image. I'm pretty sure that this is fake, but I'm gonna use it anyway because it illustrates what I really want to say. This guy, I've talked to you about shapes, and I talked to you about using, like, you know, to define the jaw lines and so on and so forth. But on this guy's face, there's none of that. You can't see where his jawline is, where you can kind of guess, you know, and so on and so forth. But the same principle still applies, only that you add extra shapes to define the face. Yeah. So you know you've got this cranium. Let me just use a lighter color. Cranium here, and it goes up to here, and then you got the eyes here. And normally his jawline should be like somewhere here, but because of the fat he's got, it's like kind of pulled down. So in this case, it's okay to exaggerate some parts. Like, you know, it's possible that some people have like longer. Let me just illustrate this real quickly because it's kind of important. Like, you know, normally like this is the normal head shape, yeah. But nothing is saying that a person can't have like a really long face, yeah, with like a really sharp chin. There's people that have that face, you know. Nothing is telling you either that, you know, like the face can't be like a lot shorter, yeah, with like a really pronounced chin. Something typically you see with like bodybuilders, I guess. And as you can see, I pretty much use the same principle. Yeah, like drawing the cranium, drawing like the egg shape, pretty much. I see like these two people seem more like totally different persons. Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much the same thing here. So, alright, let's add some shapes, because normally this is the normal shape, yeah. But as you can see, it doesn't really apply to this picture. Right, so I can see that the shape's kind of going like this. Like I see a triangle here, and there's another triangle here, and this is where the light is being blocked off, because the light is coming from above here again. And it kind of like goes down all the way here. But maybe because he's got so much fat on his face, we should like use like spheres, or like, you know. Right, so I know that his eye sockets are here. Here is where like the top of his cheekbones. Here's the bottom part. Here's the inner part. As you can see, even though I'm using different shapes, I'm getting the same results. I'm mapping out the face, yeah, and I'm mapping out, like, if I go into more detail now, let's say here, yeah, I can see that this is a different shape as well, you know, and then, you know, you've got like the top of the lips here, and bottom of the lips as well. And again, here, look, I've used some basic shapes, but now I kind of know where and how to actually accentuate like the shapes and the shading. This is like all gone, yeah, and this should be gone as well if the light was coming from there, pretty much, because the light apparently is coming more from that side. Oops. Let's correct that for a second. Something was wrong with it. There we go. Yeah, and this is the nose, and yada yada yada. You know, you understand what I'm trying to say, right? And because we use the shapes, yeah, we know where the light is going to hit and where the light is not going to hit. Or, let me just say differently, we know in what ways the light should bend or should reflect on the face, pretty much. And that's all there is to it. That was a really short lesson, but that's generally it. What I'll be doing is I'll post some pictures onto the classroom, and I'll show them to you. And what I want you to do is just use the shapes. Yeah. First, what you need to do is just look at Kai's video. Yeah. So that's your first assignment. Look at Kai's video on shapes. Yeah. Right here. Yeah. Once you've done that, come back to the classroom and just look at the pictures I've posted. You're not going to see them yet, you know, because I need to find out some good ones. There's going to be some easy ones, going to be some more difficult ones. If you've got trouble, just record it, just to be sure.